Welcome to the Sign Academy, guys. I hope all of you are good and you're practicing really well. So, here is another help from my side, a detailed revision plan for your CSI Net 2022 examination, right? So, the dates are out already, although the form is not out, which we are soon expecting to be out, right? So, yes. So, how are we going to utilize the next 2 months? For that, I have a very detailed plan for all of you. If you are going to follow that, it's going to be really, really good. Now, this is only composed of revision, right? So I am telling you all the good parts from where you have to revise. And questions definitely are coming from the previous year questions of your CSI Net, GATE, TIFR, all of the papers. You have to solve the previous year questions. Along with that, you can also solve the book questions. All right, so that is going to be really good enough for practice. So let's move onwards quickly. Now, first of all, guys, let's start with organic chemistry. Now, yes, so this time I have plotted the important chapters for all of you with a lot of clarity over here. So, list of important chapters from your Claydon, right? What are you going to do? What are you supposed to do from Claydon? So, first of all, guys, Claydon is very good for the unit reaction mechanism and reactive intermediates. All right, reaction mechanism and reactive intermediates. It is basically for that. And which chapters selectively you have to do, that also I'm going to tell you. So first of all, guys, from the very basic carbonyl chapters, all of these chapter number 6, 10, 11, 20, 25, and 26, all of these chapters are based on your carbonyl compounds, right? And their reactivity, they are hugely important. And what you're going to do along with studying from Claydon, you are going to solve question from the solution manual. So there is one more important thing. If you are studying Claydon for the first time, then you might have to study these chapters, and that is why I have made this easy for you. I've already discussed some of most of these chapters, so I'll just put up the link over here, right? I'll just put up the link over here. We have had live discussion on Claydon chapters, right? So what you can do is just visit those videos, see a little bit from the book, and directly jump on to the solution manual. Why? Because let's say this is your chapter number 8, acidity, basicity, and pKa, for example. So what you can do is you can just go through this chapter overall, not in detail, just overall you can go through, right? And you can set a timer for it, that okay, in this much time I want to complete this chapter, right? And then you can just jump on to the questions, and these are the type of questions which are going to really, really help you a lot. So this is from the Claydon solution manual. All right, and really, really important application based questions of all the chapters, right? So what you have to do is, first thing first, revise. If you have already studied, revise from the book. If you have not studied, study from the videos, and then directly jump on to the questions of the solution manual. Those are most application based, and in the revision part you will only have time for that. Okay, so next is nucleophilic substitution on saturated carbon. That is your simple SN1 and SN2 reaction, chapter number 15. Once again, all the chapters I'm mentioning, solution manuals, super important. Elimination, chapter 17. Electrophilic addition to alkenes, chapter 19. Electrophilic aromatic substitution, 21. Nucleophilic aromatic substitution, 22. Now, these are all the chapters that are included in the reaction mechanism part, and a little bit of intermediates like benzene over here. Right, now what? After that, you have to go through some chapters which are very important for the questions for CSI net, like regioselectivity, chemoselectivity also. And this chapter is super, super important. Sulfur, silicon, and phosphorus chemistry, chapter 27. I have also discussed this one. You can visit the playlist. Okay. Yes, and after you are done with all of these chapters, okay, you are going to go through questions of chapter 31, 32, and 33. Why? Here you have stereoselectivity in reaction, diastereoselectivity, how cyclohexanes are reacting. Although I have also made a short trick video on that. So if you like are not getting the concept, you can just directly go over that video, short trick series on stereochemistry. Okay? Yes, you can just go over that and start practicing questions directly from the solution manual. This is the whole thing is going to be completed just by watching the playlist as well as solving the questions from solution manual. Okay. Also, what about the other intermediates, about the radicals and the carbene? So radical and carbene you can check out from chapter 37 and 38. These are going to be huge for all of you, right? Okay. So, yes, now see, these are not the only topics which are coming in organic. There are other topics as well, like spectroscopy and pericyclic, heterocyclic compounds, asymmetric synthesis. So, everything is there in Claydon, but if you haven't already studied them, then you must first focus on this reaction mechanism intermediate. First, you do this, okay, and then you go to pericyclic reaction chapter 34 and 35. Once you are done with these two chapters, then you can move onwards to caruthers, otherwise not, because these are the basics. If you are clear with the basic, then you can move onward to caruthers, right? And here I have written chapter 36, which is like super important because there are a lot of name reactions over here, right? Name reactions like fragmentation, like pinacol, pinacolone rearrangement, all right, and a lot of things which are like really important for question solving. So chapter 36 is super important. If you want to study this chapter right now, it's not going to take much time, and then directly go to solution manual to solve the questions. So yes guys, we have done three topics over here: reaction mechanism, reactive intermediates, and pericyclic reactions over here. Okay. Now, what about the most basic one, stereochemistry? Now, there's one thing I want to clarify over here. Stereochemistry as a whole topic, right? You can just check out the playlist of short trick series for stereochemistry, right? But also, if you want to refer a book while revision, then you must refer the book that you have already studied. Don't go for a new book, right? So whatever book you have studied in your BSc, let that be D. Nasipuri, Shubhrato Sengupta, or Carrie Sundberg, whichever you have followed, just follow from there and just revise the important topics and delve into the PYQs. Just that. All right, okay. So, what is the next most scoring and important topic for organic is name reaction and reagents. Now, guys, as you already know, I've already created a list of name reaction. I have given you 57 important name reaction. Are they enough? No, that will never be enough, and I will be uploading more. But yes, what you can do is name reaction and reagents. These topics are, they are supposed to be studied together because some reagents will have name reactions, and name reactions are going to include some important reagents, right? So this is a mix already. So what you're going to do is you have a book called 300 name reactions, right? The PDFs are all in there in the Telegram group. I have already given you the link. Okay. Now you don't have to study 300 name reactions, no, but you just have to categorize some reactions. Look at the playlist of 57 name reaction, okay? Then categorize. So first thing you have to do is categorize in this way: all the Core reaction, Core-Chaykovsky reaction, Core-Fuchs reaction, Core-Winter olefination, and so on and so forth. So many Core reactions are there, right? All of those are important. Okay. Then all the carbonyl reactions are important. Now these reactions you have been doing since childhood, like pinacolone rearrangement, Cannizzaro aldol, Mukayama aldol, then Tiffany-Demjanov rearrangement, right? So all of these will involve carbonyl reaction like stove condensation and so on and so forth, right? So all of these should be there on your fingertips because you have been studying them like very from the very basic. Hiraya, advanced level fragmentation reaction. Now what fragmentation? So you already have a video of fragmentation reaction that has the Beckmann fragmentation. Okay, you'll get it by the name Beckmann rearrangement and more. So and more में Beckmann fragmentation है, फिर उसके अलावा Grob fragmentation है, Eschen-Mosher fragmentation है, right? So all of these fragmentation reaction are already uploaded. Please see them. Also, this is a huge category. This one, syn and anti-elimination. So anti-elimination, you already know that E2 elimination is anti-elimination. Syn elimination comes from Chugave elimination, cope elimination, other elide formation, which will go elimination, right? So these are very, very important. Syn and anti additions to carbon-carbon double bond. Now here you have osmium tetraoxide, here you have potassium permanganate, here you have the Prevost and the Woodward dihydroxylation, then you have hydroborane, hydroboration oxidation, and so on and so forth. Many, many examples of this. Just note them down. All right, make a list like this and then just keep on checking that you have done everything. Okay, all the palladium catalyzed reactions, without a doubt, this goes without a saying that you have to do them. The Wacker oxidation, the Suzuki coupling, majorly coupling reactions, but yes, Heck reaction, Wacker oxidation, all of those are important as well. All the important carbocation rearrangement, what are those? Wagner-Mervin rearrangement and similar rearrangements, which will involve a carbocation like your pinacolone, like dienonphenol. Those are also involving the carbocations, right? Beer-Villiger oxidation, etc. Okay, now important one, reactions including hydrazone. So if you can think of any reaction including hydrazone, that will be Shapiro. Bamford reaction, Shapiro reaction, Wharton reaction, Eschen-Mosher fragmentation, right? Many, many examples of reactions including hydrazones. So just categorize your name reactions and what is the source you're going to study from. 300 name reactions, my playlist, or if you find it difficult, you can study from Essence Sanyal, but that's too basic. Okay. Yes. Now about the reagents. Reagents, guys, mostly focus on oxidation and reduction reagent because other than that, your carbene reagents and all of these will be covered in the intermediates part, right? So reagents में ज़्यादातर oxidation reduction ही आता है, and you have a plenty and plenty of choice of reagents in William Caruthers, right? There are two chapters dedicated to it, and what you can do is just go through those chapters, just do the examples and then directly go on solving PYQs. All right, do the solved PYQs first and then do new questions by yourself. All right, that will give you much confidence and boost. Okay, now list of important topics for organic spectroscopy. Now this is huge already. Organic spectroscopy is for structure determination. This is a very important topic, very scoring topic as well. So I personally prefer Cengage publications. Sorry, this book Pavia and Lampman, and the third edition as well as the solution to the third edition is already there in the Telegram group, right? And what you can just do is, if you have not studied from this book, I would not suggest to start now. Now is not the time. But the back questions and the examples which are given in the book are extremely important. So let's say for now you can focus on the playlist. I have already created a playlist for all of these. UV visible, basic terminology, that is what is oxochrome, chromophore, and what are the effects of conjugation, what is the effect of solvent, polar solvent, non-polar solvent, what is the Lambert-Beer's law, right? What are the wavelength shifts, and the Woodward-Hoffman rule for diene and enones. All of these are done in the playlist. IR spectroscopy playlist is also there, very much in detail. All the factors affecting the shift in frequency, everything is given. For the proton NMR, C13 NMR, the coupling constant, the splitting tree diagram, delta scale, and diamagnetic anisotropy. All of these factors are really important and they are already provided. So these three 1 to 3. These you can see very easily from the playlist, and then just directly start solving questions from the previous years. Mass spectrometry I have not uploaded yet and will be uploading soon for all of you. Those methods which are required to understand the fragmentation, and directly you will be able to solve it, the previous year questions, right? Yes, so itna kafi hai for organic spectroscopy. Now moving onwards, yes, most important topic for inorganic. So first we have discussed organic chemistry. I took the important topics like the ones where bulk of questions are asked. The same thing we are going to do for inorganic. Definitely there is a whole lot of syllabus, but we are only talking about the very scoring topics. Okay. Yes. So first thing we'll talk about organometallics. Then you have coordination, then you have bioinorganic. Okay, yes. So these are the three topics we are going to talk about in the inorganic. What about the other ones? The P block element, chemical bonding, main group. I have taken a lot and a lot of special classes on an academy, which is basically for free. All right, you just have to join an academy and just use the code Jagriti S to unlock it for the first time, and that also for free, and just go on watching all the main group classes. Okay. And solve from the pyqs. I have done a lot of pyqs there as well. So yes, let's move onward to important topics like organometallics. So first of all, if you are studying from a foreign author like Crabtree or like any other book, it's okay, but I think BD Gupta is very direct and very much to the point, right? To what you require in your CSI NET exam. So, first of all, if you haven't got this book yet, please do. For the, if you are, if you are starting to study this time from this book, then I would not suggest it. It will take a lot of time. But yes, the back questions are super important. So, the back questions and solutions. The back questions and solutions of all of these important chapters are given in the Telegram group. All right, and you can just check them out. Okay, so the important chapter. Now you'll see a list of chapters, and yes, all of these are important. But first of all, just try to do as much as possible from the basics. 18 electron rule, chapter 2. Metal clusters from chapter 10. So these two are very correlated, and you will get most of the questions in CSIR and other examination from the back questions of these chapters, right? So once just visit them. Then you have chapter 3, metal carbonyls, chapter 4, metal phosphenes, chapter 5, alkene and alkyne metal complexes. Now, see, you don't have to read the complete chapter. You just have to look at the important portion. I have already taught you from in the Unacademy Plus classes. I have already taught from these chapters, right? And then you can just directly go on to the back question. It's not going to take plenty of time. If you already have studied them, it's really awesome. Then chapter number 6, metal carbines. Now chapter number 7, only do ferrocene and DGM rules. It's a huge chapter. So only do the ferrocene and the Davies Green Mingo's rule from there. Okay. Chapter number 8, oxidative addition, reductive elimination, and your migratory insertion and so on. All of these are basics, right? So till here, it's not a very difficult read. It's not going to take a lot of time till here, but after that you have to be very selective in these chapter. Like chapter 12, you're only going to do hydrogenation by Wilkinson's catalyst, and by the Crabtree's catalyst and so on. Just be very very selective. Chapter 13, hydroformylation reaction, that is your oxo process. So only study the two catalysts for oxo process, that is your cobalt based catalyst and rhodium based catalyst. Just do that. Okay. Chapter number 14, Monsanto, Cativa, and Wacker process. So, all the types of questions which could be asked from here, from these processes, are given. So, these are very to the point and direct. You must visit them. Okay. Chapter number 15, Alkene metathesis. Now, this is also going to be a huge chapter, but just focus on what are the metathesis reagents, the Grubbs catalyst, and what is the first, second, and third generation catalyst, right? So just see that and be very selective. Chapter number 16, huge examples of palladium coupling reactions. Okay. Yeah, chapter 18, most important, ferrocene. So be very selective after chapter 8. यहाँ से selectively पढ़ना है. Okay, if you have not already studied them, it's okay. Just directly go on solving the back questions. Okay, you will understand by looking at the solution and a little bit of going through the chapters. But अगर आपको बिल्कुल नहीं पढ़ा है बीडी गुप्ता तो फिर आप इसको छोड़ दो. Just focus on these topics from any other source where you have studied. Next is coordination. So coordination में important topics है. All of these. Where are you going to study from? You can study from J.D. Lee or Hui or Ajay Kumar. I prefer this book because it is very direct for your CSI and net preparation. Okay, very to the point. So, first thing, don't forget the IUPAC nomenclature of complexes. You might get stuck over here. Okay. Geometric isomerism, stereoisomerism, that is how many number of isomers are possible, all those type of questions, right? Then here comes VS, EPR, VBT, MOT, LFT, all of these bonding theories. Okay, so jitne bhi bonding theories hai that you have to do, all right, very nicely. So revise from all of these topics. Electronic spectra में क्या आता है? Spectroscopic term symbols, microstate Orgel diagram, Tanabe-Sunagu diagrams, Jan-Taylor distortion, etc. All of these important topics on which the questions are asked. Magnetism में क्या आता है? Ferromagnetic, ferrimagnetic, antiferromagnetic, paramagnetic and diamagnetic substances, और इनके लिए जो ग्राफ आता है, all right, that is very very important. Curie's law and Curie-Weiss law, different magnetic moment formulas. So all in all, you have kind of four formulas. ठीक है? Someone without a orbital contribution, some with the orbital contribution, and so on. ठीक है? चार formula है total. वही आपको देखना है कौन से केस में कौन सा अप्लाई होता है. Then the spin crossover. Some examples of the spin crossover. Right? So this is a very direct, very directly it is given in the book. You can just revise from wherever you have studied. फिर आता है kinetic lability and inertness. So basically, talking about this, kinetic lability is which complex is going to be labile, which complex is going to be inert based on the CFSE or the LFSE theory that you have to revise 100%, super important. Then next is reaction mechanism. अब reaction mechanism में दो चीजें हैं, एक तो है your substitution in the octahedral complex and square planar complex, then there is electron transfer. So two things under the reaction mechanism. So octahedral complexes may most of the reactions are dissociation type. That is, most of the examples will be of your acid and base hydrolysis reactions. ठीक है? And you just have to understand their rate laws. Okay. Then square planar complex में आता है trans effect. सबसे ज़्यादा important है. Just remember the trans effect series. And then electron transfer process में आता है इनर स्फीयर एंड आउटर स्फीयर इलेक्ट्रॉन ट्रांसफर. अब इन दोनों में क्या चाहिए, राइट? व्हाट आर द इम्पोर्टेंट पॉइंट्स एंड व्हाट डिफरेंशिएट्स दीज टू, दैट यू हैव टू रिमेंबर. और बहुत सारे PYQs है. आई हैव मेड यू डू दिस ऑल everything in the battle of poles that we did in the last month on Unacademy, right? So all of these questions are done in the battle of poles special classes. Please visit them, they're all free. Okay. Yes. Now moving onward, bio inorganic chemistry. अब देखो guys, बहुत ज़्यादा repeated topics है bio inorganic chemistry में. That is oxygen transport, your hemoglobin, myoglobin, hematin, methemoglobin, hemerythrin, hemocyanin. All of these systems you have to know very thoroughly. Okay. Electron transport, iron sulfur protein, cytochromes, Riskey's protein, etc. Electron transport भी बहुत ज़्यादा defined है. and also oxygen transport. Now, all right, so the third category is metalloenzymes. Metalloenzymes may mostly zinc based, copper based, and iron based enzymes are asked. Okay, what will be their structure and what will be their function? Structure and function. याद है सबसे ज़्यादा. Okay. Then there is nitrogen fixation. So which enzyme, what is the structure, what is the change in the oxidation state? All right, so all of those things, nitrogen fixation may be. Now, functions of some important coenzymes like vitamin B12. So vitamin B12 is a very popular organometallic compound in the biological system, right? तो इसका क्या रोल होता है वो आपको देखना है. Also a little bit of active and passive transport, ये थोड़ा कम आता है, but yes, it has been asked. The names of ionophores, what are their functions, sodium potassium pump, right? A little bit. Then now this part is most important because recently there are a lot of questions which have been asked. Metals in medicines, right? So what is the role of different metals in our body, in our system, their deficiency, their toxicity, also how can they be used in medicine? So all of these are the important topics of bioinorganic. ये सब कहाँ मिलेंगे आपको? You can directly get them either in the Ajay Kumar volume 2. There's one chapter. R Sarkar, there's one chapter. Shrivaran Atkins, there's one chapter. So one chapter will be good enough for the bioinorganic that you are asked in CSI. You don't have to take a separate book for that. No, not important. Okay. सिर्फ important topics करो और PYQ solve करो. All right. Now, guys, the third most important topic is your physical chemistry. What are you going to do in physical chemistry? देखो बहुत सारे लोग हैं जिनको पूरा physical chemistry बहुत अच्छे से confident है, but there are a lot of students who are more confident in organic and inorganic. So for both of them, guys, these are the chapter list, and this is the max that you are going to do. Okay, but let's say you want to do it selectively. How are you going to do it? First thing, don't skip chemical kinetics. अब जो देखो सबसे ज़्यादा scoring topic है वो मैंने सबसे last में लिखा है quantum, because a lot of students like to do quantum and some people have not done quantum at all. So this is a very scoring topic, quantum. What are the topics which are asked? Particle in a box, energy, degeneracy, and probability, etc. The types of operators, your simple harmonic oscillation, angular momentum, hydrogen atom, Huckel's theory, and perturbation theory. ठीक है, तो all of these are important topics which are being asked from quantum. If you are already good at it, you can just go on solving PYQs, ये सब revise करके. ठीक है, if you are not good at quantum, or let's say you are only skipping physical chemistry because you think quantum is very difficult, नहीं हो पाएगा, सब लोग बोलते हैं quantum ही सबसे ज़्यादा important है, then look at the syllabus once again. So many things you have already done since class 12. Chemical kinetics आपने पढ़ा है, thermodynamics पढ़ा है, surface chemistry पढ़ा है, right? Electrochemistry पढ़ा है. All of these topics, yes, also solid state, they are repeating since very long. So since the age of IIT JEE. So what you can do is just go through these topics from the very basic. और आपने पढ़ा है इसको just revise करना है. So yes, in the chemical kinetics you're getting order of reaction, very simple, half life, steady state approximation, फिर Arrhenius equation, activated complex theory, parallel and reversible reaction, enzyme catalyst, super important. Enzyme catalysis, always it is asking, always it's being asked without any disappointment, ये हमेशा आता है. Ionic strength also, a little bit of photochemistry if you can, right? If you have enough time तो ये भी थोड़ा देख लेना. Now let's come to another easy topic, solid state. Molecular formula, determining the molecular formula. All right, different types of lattices, simple, FCC, BCC, and so on. बहुत basic चीजें हैं. Packing fraction you can do. Now Bragg's equation once again does not disappoint. Miller indices, very important. Now different structures of different lattices, that is your sodium chloride, CaCl, BaF2, Na2O. All right, all right, CaTiO3, zinc blend, and so on. ये सारे के सारे जो common crystal के types है, do that as well, or just go through them as well. crystal defects are once again very directly asked, direct questions आते हैं. And band theory. This is it about solid state. इतने ही topics है, and if you are revising them, do it nicely, do it confidently so that you can solve the important previous year questions on them. These two topics you are not going to skip at any cost. Now about thermodynamics. See, so you must think कि अब तो level high हो गया, thermodynamics statistical ज़्यादा आ रही है. No guys, thermodynamics, chemical thermodynamics is having a lot of percentage in your paper. So chemical thermodynamics में क्या है? Your normal simple classical thermodynamics as well as chemical thermodynamics. ठीक है? You have Maxwell equations, equation of state, entropy, Carnot engine, basically first law and second law combined. ठीक है? Heat capacity, Clausius-Clapeyron equation, Joule-Thomson experiment, your criteria for spontaneity, and different equations basically, right? Equations for correlating your state functions. ठीक है? तो जितने भी state functions है, all right, different equations correlating your state functions, वो आपको करना है. This is your classical thermodynamics. Chemical thermodynamics में you have the Hess's law, which is like really easy. All right, and then you have the calorimeter experiment and few things which are very correlated और बहुत easy है attempt करना इन सबको. So please go through them once and just directly solve questions. About the extension of thermodynamic is your phase equilibria. Okay, not very difficult. Degrees of freedom, phase diagram, and phase transition. But if you find it like really difficult, और अगर ये नहीं याद रहता है तो at least do degree of freedom, because ये direct question आते हैं. Just use the formula and just find out the degrees of freedom, right? Very easy, simple. Now, surface chemistry, one topic that you have done already from the very basic. So what is adsorption? You know that. What are the types of adsorption? That also you know. The equation used for adsorption, Langmuir equation, very popular. So these basic things you can do and score your marks in CSI net exam. You can also do a little bit of qualitative properties revision from here. अब आता है एक नया topic, polymer chemistry. Alright, so in this topic, polymer chemistry, you just have to use a few formulas over here, right? And that is basically finding out the polydispersity index. And you'll know by looking at the PYQs, they are very much centered to just one region of polymer chemistry, finding out the masses and finding out the polydispersity index. And that's going to be really easy for you to attempt and score marks, right? So all of these topics are very direct, guys, and you have already prepared them since your very childhood, right? And you must not skip them. Also, group theory. So group theory is a little bit advanced, but if you can find out the symmetry elements of a molecule, if you can just do this characteristic table, right? Character table and irreducible representations, that will be all, because you get a 4 mark question directly by doing these topics, right? So yes, that is what you have to do. Now from the electrochemistry, what you can actually do in very less time is your Colroche's law. It is super easy. Just practice directly. Debye-Huckel equation, Nernst equation, solubility product, potentiometric titration. Some few examples, जो basic examples है जो आपने किए हैं already BSc में, just those example, potentiometric titration. Transport number calculation and polarography. So polarography is also very direct, just like polymer chemistry. Only a few, only a very defined portion is asked, right? Not the whole theory and everything. So a very defined portion you have to do on polarography, that is your major Ilkovic equation and so on, right? तो ये जो छोटी छोटी चीजें हैं ये आपको बहुत हेल्प करेगी in scoring a lot of marks in CSI and net. And from where do you have to study? What is the source? If you want, you can follow your BSc book. All right, Gurdeep Raj, you can follow KL Kapoor. You can also follow Peter Atkins, whichever book makes you understand, right? That is the whole thing. So, yes, guys, these are some analysis And these are some of the topics that I have told you to how you can revise actually. And this is important for revision. इतना तो करना ही पड़ेगा हमें, because we are preparing for a national level examination, and we have to be very sure and confident about our knowledge that okay, we have studied this much and we can attempt this much. रिवीजन के साथ ही साथ PYQ सॉल्व करना है फ्रॉम योर CSI नेट पेपर, गेट पेपर, TIFR papers, right? Because they have really good questions. Okay, so all right guys, I will see you in another practice video now. Take care of yourself and think about, now the next thing you are going to think about is time management. Okay, how are you going to manage time for the revision as well as practice? That is what you're going to think about. Make a routine and work accordingly. All of these topics you have to do. I'll see you in another video. Bye everyone.